All right. Welcome to today's episode of Create Your Turning Points. Our mission here is to remind everybody, and myself included, that we can all create our turning points right here, right now, if we really want to, and if we actually do it. Today, I'm extremely privileged and honored to have Mr. Jon Jandai come to our show to share with us his story. I come to Mr. Jon Jandai's TED Talk. I come across Mr. Jon Jandai's TED Talk about 6 years ago. Mr. Jandai's story has inspired me a lot, and it made me rethink my purpose in my life. I've been sharing this with my students, usually 18, 19 years old, many overseas students in Australia. Each time I listen to this TED Talk with my students, with my class, every term, I learn something new. Even though from the same TED Talk, I always take in something new from the TED Talk. And many people say that information is more important than inspiration, or technology or practicality is more important than passion. But actually, I realized that Mr. Jandai has proven to us again and again that this is not the case. It should be the other way around. You'll find out more in this conversation. Mr. Jon Jandai, thanks for coming here today.
Hello, you're welcome.
Thank you. Can you start by briefly introducing yourself and share with us your early years growing in your home village? Thank you.
I was born in a small village, very far away from the city. When I was a kid, there's not no money, not much money at that time. People don't use much money. They're poor, and then mainly they butter everything together. So people do things by themselves quite a lot. So at that time, I feel very happy when I was a kid. Until not very long, the electricity came to the village, and then it came with the electricity is TV. TV bring the big change to the village at that time, because TV is the first thing that tell us that we are poor. Because before that, we don't use the word poor at all. We don't know what is poor, but we use the word suffer. If you suffer, you need to find something that you need, and then you can get rid of suffering easily. And then if you go have fun with other people, you enjoy your life more, you will not be suffer anymore. Because food's everywhere, everything's everywhere. So, but when the TV came, they said, you are poor. To solve the poor problem, we need to have money. So to have money, we need to work very hard. And then after that, most of the people in the village working very hard. And then the more they work, the more they're poor until now. They have more TV, more refrigerator, more pickup truck, but their life harder and harder. And then they don't have time to laugh, don't have time to enjoy their life anymore. So that's the big change. And after that, everybody need to go to the city. When most of young people have to go to the city to pursue their dream. Their dream is to be rich, to have more money. So everybody go to the city at my age, including me. But when I was in the city, I think we work so much, we don't have enough to eat. What happened? I start to question, why when people work hard, we work more than 8 hours per day, every day. But why we don't have enough to eat? Why we don't have good life? So why do we have to work hard when we don't get anything? That's the question. So I start to think about, so many people work hard, but not many people enjoy it much, enjoy their life much. Like even my boss in Bangkok, he have money, he have everything, but his life is very busy all the time. He don't have time to take a nap in the daytime. He don't have time to be with the family. His family is broken. His kids have a lot of problem, become drug addict, become many things. So I start to think, why do we need to make a lot of money money. Why we don't work hard to make food for ourselves and to make what we need ourselves? That's the only time that I start to think about going back home, because when I was kid, nobody worked 8 hours per day. So why don't we develop our life in that way to make it easier and more fun, more joy? But the way we develop our life now, we make ourselves to work harder and harder and harder, and we don't know when we can rest. So it's like there's no death, there's no end to live like this. But if we go back home, we can start to design our life in the way that we want it to be. I think a lot at that time. So that make me make decision to go back home at that time. Went back home.
You mentioned that at 9 years old, you were supporting your family, right? You were doing farming and all that.
Yeah. When most of the kids in my age, they're very good about everything. They can be self-reliant when they are 6-7 years old already.
Yes.
So we know how to trap animal. We know how to harvest vegetable in the forest. We know how to make tools. We know how to cook. We know how to do some simple thing a lot. So 9 years old, they consider it's big enough to take care of the family when I was kid. When I was 9, I catch a lot of fish every day. So I know where's the mushroom will grow when the first rain come. Where's the bamboo shoot come up, we know everywhere in the village. So that kind of knowledge make us feel secure a lot at that time.
Yes. And you were mentioning that you feel very proud and you were confident, of course, because you know the nature and you know how to be self-reliant and even support the family. So, but that didn't last long because soon later the television come in. What age were you that time?
When the television came in is around when I was 11 years old.
Okay. Then the thinking start to change. Is that right?
Yeah, I start to feel bad after that. Before that, I feel so proud of myself. I feel like I grew up in a heaven. I'm so happy. I have so many friends. I know everywhere in the village. So after the TV came, and then most of my friends start to go to the city, and then they have motorcycle, they have things like that, and it make me feel bad that I don't have anything. So that's the first time I feel poor, really poor. Many friends, they have a chance to go to the school, but I cannot go because my family doesn't have money at that time. So that's the meaning of poor that I start to understand it.
And I believe you were also very driven because you mentioned about a prime minister who said that if anybody work hard, there will be no poor people. So you were sort of like, you bought the story. Can I say that?
Yeah, because at that time, people say that if you're diligent enough, if you work hard enough, you will never be poor. That's the word that most of people are talking about.
Yes.
So I feel like I don't need to be poor because I can be a hard worker person. I can work harder than many people because I feel like I tougher than anybody in the village.
Right.
So I don't think I will be poor. So when I went to the city, I work harder. I work more than 10 hours per day. I know they are for many years. Yeah.
Right. Sorry. So can you maybe share with us the moment or the time that you decide to go to the city? What was the response like? Like the family members like support you, say it's good, should go to the city. What age were you when you decided to leave the village?
I decided to leave the village when I was 16. 15 years old, I finished primary school. And then after that, I ordained in the Buddhist temple.
Yes.
So I can get education. It's like a free education in the temple. So
Yes.
I become a novice, Buddhist novice for 4 years. And after that, I disrobe. I become normal people. And I start to work in Bangkok after that.
Right. So the ordained and the temple living as a monk, novice monk, was in the city in Bangkok. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. Right. Do you have any brothers, sisters?
Sorry?
Do you have any brothers and sisters?
Oh, I have one brother and one sister.
Right.
One older brother and one younger sister. I'm the middle person.
Did they also go to the city as well?
No, my brother, he went somewhere else in another farm or something like that, and then my sister have to be at home and take care of my parents, so
Right.
she cannot go to the city.
Right. So you were in the city for 8 years in total. Is that right?
About 7 years.
7 years. Right.
Yes.
Right. And then you came back to the village about 22 years old.
It's around that. Yeah, I came back to the village after be in the city for 7 years, and then
Okay. Right. Right.
I came back.
All right. So when you decided to come back, did you hesitate? Like how long did you hesitated before you make the decision to go back to your village?
Oh, a lot of hesitation. I came back home, and then when I start to work in the field, I feel like it's so hard. It's so hard. I never work hard like this because I live in the city.
Yeah.
So I went back to the city again. And then
Oh.
when I work in the city, I feel like, oh, human should not live like this. This is a robot life. If you feel, if you think about happiness, if you think about freedom, if you think about love, you cannot live in the city because the city don't allow you to be human. You have to be a robot only. So
Wow.
I went back home again, and then it back and forth for many times,
Oh.
more than 4 times actually.
Right.
But at the end, I said, I need to leave this city because it's too much already.
Yes.
And then I went back home. This time I start to see what will happen if I work very hard in the field.
Wow.
So when I try, and then I start to think about, oh, everything have some easy way if we observe it. So to do farming, you don't need to work very hard in farming. So if you work in the early morning before the sunrise and work in the evening when it's not hot, that's more than you need. So when I experiment that, I found that, oh, it's so easy. And then we don't need to be like a normal farmer that work hard all day long. So when we think deeply and then we plan well, and then everything's easy. Everything has some easiness behind it, but we need to experiment to find it. So after that, I feel like it's no problem to come back home. It's easier than live in the city.
You see, it is so difficult mentally to make that decision. And when you have no one to show you around the right way, the way that you are farming right now, it's so difficult, isn't it? Like, I don't know, you were able to do it without looking at how someone do it and following how they do their farming. I think you invented or you created a new way of farming, being an innovative person that you are.
Yeah, I have to do something different from other people because I start to think that if we do the same other people, I will be like them. So most of farmers work hard and then they are poor. Have a lot of debt. So why do I have to do like them? Most of farmers, they grow only one variety of crops. Like they grow only rice, or they grow only rubber. They grow only durian. So if you grow only one thing, if something happened, you lost all of it. And then If you grow only one thing and then you don't eat all of them, so you need to buy something else to eat. So
Yes.
that make me think about why we need to grow only one thing. So I start to grow more than 50 varieties of vegetable in a small area.
And
So
you, uh,
after mm,
so go
after
ahead.
I grow 50 varieties, I noticed that I ate everything I grow there. So if I grow the whole land with kale, so I don't eat kale at all because too many, too much. So when I grow many things, I start to eat what I grow. That means I don't spend money for food. So I have some more money. And then when you grow something, you cannot eat all of it because it produces a lot. Like you grow 5 chilies, you cannot eat the whole chili in one family.
Yes.
The rest you have to sell it, and then the way that's why you make more money from it. And then it's
Yes.
not a lot, but we make it every day.
Yes.
And then I feel like I did not invest money in farming. I just invest my labor. So how much I sold it is my profit. So I
Yes.
make 200 baht, 300 baht per day. That's my profit. So
Yes.
I deposit money like a 300 baht per day. So it's better than become a teacher. Teacher
Yes.
make money, but they have to buy everything to eat.
Yes.
So at the end of the month, they have no money left. So when we
Yes.
grow vegetable, we eat them. We don't have expense. When we have income, it's all the profit for me. So that make thing uh, very fun to me at that time to see this thing.
Yeah. Can I ask, like, because I haven't got any farming experience, but listen to your talk, it gets me to think, think about different perspective. So one of the things that you said in another interview, you mentioned that most of the farmers, they're focusing on the harvest, like what am I planting? But for you, you focus on tilling the soil, make the soil very rich. So
Yeah,
when you farm with so many different variety, you are giving more benefit to the soil. Is that right?
yeah. Farming is not about planting plant only.
I see.
The main idea of farming is about how to make the soil fertile, how to make the soil become normal soil. So if the soil is good, whatever you drop, what seed you drop on the soil, they grow well. But normal farming now, we rob the soil. We did not develop the soil. We use chemical to press the nutrition out of the soil and change it into rubber or palm or rice or tapioca or something like that. And we take it away all the time, but we never bring it back. So that's why now the soil all over the world is become deplete soil. You
I
cannot
see.
grow much. You cannot use it much now.
I see.
So the soil, if we develop it well, it's like our mother. If our mother is healthy, she always give milk to us a lot all the time. But whenever our mother got sick, she cannot produce enough milk for us. So to take care of the soil is the heart of farming.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Listening to this talk, and yesterday also I listened to another talk. I think one of the professors or academic from Canada, she was interviewing you. So makes me realize, even though the fact is very simple, but we don't see, but coming, to talk to you, right, bring us back to the basic, because when you are making the soil very rich, have different nutrients in the soil, it's like our human body, we also need different vitamins and different minerals. So the farm and the human beings are very similar, is an organic being. And also yesterday you mentioned, when I listened to your talk, you mentioned like how we use our pee and our human waste, to grow, to fertilize the plant, and then we eat the plant, and then our pee come down to the plant again. The cycle, it is so important, and we've forgotten about that. Thanks for reminding us that.
Yeah, I think it's my experience when long time ago I start to do the garden, and then I don't have any money. I just start to do the garden. I want to know how can we grow with no money. So I plant a lot of vegetable in small area, and then I pee in the bucket every day and collecting pee. And then I use pee to water the garden bed every day. This bed, tomorrow next bed, the day after that next bed, and then 5 days you come back. Keep doing like this, and I can produce a lot of vegetable to feed more than 2 or 3 people. So that's the first time I discovered that humans should not be hungry because only pea can feed us already. Why we have to be hungry? So so if we think differently, we can always find a solution. And then
Yes.
to understand that part, it helped me to understand myself a lot. Like to take care of my life, my body. That's mean I need to take care of the soil. When the soil is good, my health is good too.
Yes.
And then we have to have a good plant, good vegetable seed. So we have the good seed. We plant them on the ground, and then they sprout. And then you take care of them very well. And then one day they come back to be my body. So it
Yes.
make me see the circle of life. My body did not disconnect it from anything. It connected with everything. So the whole world is my body. So it helped me to see that picture. So when you see that thing, it feel like I can know the way I can live. I understand what can make my life sustainable, what make my life last longer. And then it helped me to see the big picture of life, not only my body.
Yes. Yes. See, the human problem that we have, the so many human problems that we have today happen because we stop the natural cycle from going, right? We break
Yeah,
down the cycle.
we were disconnected ourselves from everything.
Yes.
That's the problem. But
Yes.
in practical, in the reality, we cannot disconnect it from anywhere, anything. We still relate to air, to plant, to animal, to water, to the sun, to the soil, to our many generation. So everything related. But when we think we are independent, we are disconnected from everything, that's make human feel very lonely, feel very
Exactly.
bad. And then whatever we do, we just harm ourselves. We destroy ourselves because
Yes.
we didn't see ourselves that this is one part of our body.
Yes.
So I think this way cause a big problem in the world right now because we
Yes.
think we disconnected from everything.
Yes. The moment we interrupt the cycle, the moment we start destroying ourselves, you know,
Sorry?
I said the moment that we interrupt the cycle, we start destroying ourselves, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever we feel like we are not a part of the world, we start to take advantage of the world. Like many farmer, they don't think the land is their body, so they can use chemical on their land. Whenever they use chemical on their land start to be a dead soil.
Exactly.
Then
Exactly.
and then they have to work harder and work harder and work harder. And then when they work harder to get more yield from their land, it does mean their land's good, but it means they use more natural resources. They use more fuel. They use more thing outside to produce small amount from their
Yes.
farm, and then they believe that we got high yield. But actually, you use more natural resources to get this amount of yield.
Yes.
So That's the way we believe our successful way of farming. That's why our natural resource decrease so fast now, because wrong thinking in farming.
Yes. I also like the point that you told the Canadian, guest, interviewer about because she was asking you about the weed, because he see a lot of weed in the farm, and you reminded us that the weed is also a nature, part of nature, right?
The wheat in the farm is something that come to help us. But the wrong thinking of people think that weed is a problem. Weed is enemy of our plant. So that's why
Exactly.
we try to kill weed. So it's wrong. But actually, if you understand it, weed come to help us farming. So if we don't kill weed, but we cut them down, when the more we cut them down, they produce more fertilizer. They produce more food for us. And then they cover the soil. Don't let the soil exposed to the sun. When the soil keep moisture longer, microorganisms start to grow more and more and more. And then they have more microorganism, more air, and then more water. And then plant grow very well after that.
Can I also say that the insects like snails and all the insects is also not the enemy?
Nothing enemy. Only the problem is we don't know how to use them. We don't know
we,
everything. We don't understand. That's why we think it's a problem. When we
we
understand it,
cannot,
there's nothing a problem.
yeah, we refuse to let the insect eat the vegetable because we don't like to see the vegetable has many holes on the leaves. So we use the insecticides,
Yeah.
pesticides.
I think it's our selfish thinking.
Yes.
So for me, when we grow beans, there's some effort come to eat beans. But our selfish thinking, we don't want to give our bean to effort. So we try to kill effort. And then when we try to kill effort with chemical did not kill only effort, it killed everything around it.
Kill us.
So it make a big problem after that. But
Yeah.
in another way, if we not grow cash crop, only one crops, we grow many things in one bed, one area. So the aphid maybe eat bean, but aphid will not eat onion. So aphid maybe don't eat cilantro, something like that. So if we grow many things, we just when aphid come, just let them eat. We can still have another thing to eat. But if you grow only one varieties, aphid eat and then they destroy everything. And then when we don't kill aphid, not very long, ladybugs will come.
Mm.
And when ladybugs come, they found that, oh, so many food here. Then they start to propagate more and more and more. And then they start to control aphid themselves. So by this way, my experience 20 years, more than 20 years of farming, I never use any chemical. I never kill pest. I let them eat. Not very long, something will come and control themselves. So in this way, it's a lot easier, a lot relaxed way of farming.
Yeah, sometimes the problem really starts when we try to solve problem using money. Because when we start to use money, then okay, the crop has lots of insects. We buy the pesticides, right? The crops,
Yeah.
the soil has not enough fertilizer. We buy the chemical fertilizer. We don't use our own pee. We don't use our own waste. So you are very wise because if we try to solve problem without money, then the solution becomes more human friendly, more eco friendly.
Yeah. Actually, the nature is working hard by itself. We don't need to work hard. But
Yes.
whenever we intervene, we interrupt the way of nature's work, we work harder. Because when we when we start to kill microorganisms with the chemical, when microorganisms die, there's nothing help to till the soil. The soil will be harder and harder. And when we use chemical, not only microorganism die, worm also die, cricket die, many things die. So this life, they help us a lot in farming. They help to till the soil. They help to bring oxygen down deep in the soil, and then they bring more water down in the soil easily. So they work hard to make nature work well in its way. So if we understand that, we work less. But if we kill them, we have to work for them.
Thank you. Thank you. What are some of your views about, the future trend of the pharmaceutical companies, the GMO and all this food manufacturing? So where do you see all this going,
I think it will not last very long because the new technology of farming, GMO and things like that, is use a lot of natural resources. But the natural resources on this earth almost finished. It's like a fossil fuel. Fossil fuel almost gone now. So most of farmers all over the world, they rely on fossil fuel with no oil. Many countries gonna starving to death because
Right.
they rely on oil a lot. So the way we develop now, we spend so much money to produce small amount of food, and then we think that it's very successful way of farming. We so proud with technology, but all the technology is never cheap. It costs a lot of natural resources to produce it. So it's like the snake eat itself. The more you eat fast, the faster you eat, you finish soon. So
Yes.
I don't think the conventional farming gonna last very long. And then GMO thing is not very interesting because it's so expensive. It's never solved any problem, and it costs more money. It costs more problem with environment and everything about health problem. So it's expensive, but it did not help much for us right now. You can
Yes.
see like most of farmer in the world decrease very fast now.
Yeah.
Like even in America, they have less than 2% of people are farmer. Even before that, they have 80%. In Thailand, now 30 years ago, 40 years ago, we have 80% of population of farmer. But now we have less than about 30% of population become farmer now. So all of them are old people. There's not many young people want to be farmer anymore. So you can see like if farming, if the conventional farming it work well or successful, why number of farmer decrease? Why people don't want to do farming? Like in America, in the last 20 years, no more new farmer. Only young people who inherit from their parents. But many of them, at the end, they just sold their land to make a living when they're old. They don't have saving. So farming is the the career that will not last very long. And then in
Right.
the same time, the big company try to come and take over the farm.
Yep.
They try to make the industrial farm. But this company, they use a lot of technology, a lot of money too. So when a crisis happen, like a energy crisis or money crisis, people have nothing to eat, no choice in their life because they use technology for so long, and then technology just rely on many factors. When some factor have problem, and it make the big crisis happen everywhere after that.
Yes.
So I don't think it will last very long.
So you will see a trend of people doing what you're doing. That means they use their land in the backyard to plant their own vegetables, grow their own food. Is that right?
Yeah, I think people who love to do farming or to love to do gardening, they have to have a chance to do it to preserve the knowledge, the wisdom, and then to saving seeds, and then to uh, keep the varieties of plant. If one company grow for the whole country, they don't grow many varieties. But if many people grow for themselves, they grow many varieties. So diversity, biodiversity is security. Biodiversity is freedom.
Right.
So if we have no biodiversity, that means we have nothing. So people have to come back to grow, find some place to grow things more. And then when the crisis happen, whatever happen, we still have knowledge, we still have seeds to grow our food in the way that we can rely ourselves, not rely on technology so much.
Right. Mr. Jon Jandai, from your experience running Han Pan, and you say that people are already starting to come back, to go back to their own farm, to their own village. Is that right? You see a trend in
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, there's so many young people now. They came to train to our workshop every month. So we have many workshops per year, and it's always full with young people.
Yeah.
Because these young people, they have new idea, new thinking, and then they don't want to be in the city anymore, but they want to come back to the farm. They want to design their own way of life, and then they come to learn and then experiment to grow, and they bought land, and many people started now. I think all over the world, many young people want to come back to the farm now. That's a
Right.
big problem with their parents, because their parents cannot catch up with the changing of the world. Their parents don't want their kid to come to the farm. They want the kid to be in the city.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's a big conflict everywhere now.
That's right. You know, when I'm teaching here in Australia, I teach in a college where a lot of students come from Asia. So these parents, they just want the children to come here to get a degree, a business degree, because they have no idea what they want to do in life. So they say, no problem. If you don't know what you want to do in life, just get a business degree first, and then you decide what you want to do. So I have a lot of students, they are not interested in study, but they just have to spend 3-4 years of their lives doing something they don't like. So sometimes I tell them, maybe you can consider going back and tell your parents what you really want. But of course, they don't also know what they want. You know, so parents, we have become the obstacles for the young generation, because a lot of us, you know, not only their parents, maybe myself, also grow up with the old thinking, and we are in the way.
Yeah, because people cannot catch up with the chain. Like when I was kid, most of the parents in my age, they want their kid to be government official. They think it's the most stable career. But people in my age don't want to work as a government official. We think if you are a government official, it's poor. And then it's not very fun. You have to have a lot of boss. You cannot be yourself. So people in my age want to be a business person. They want to do business. They want to work with the big corporation, because they can make a lot of money. They can start their own business after that. But people in my age, their success in their life a lot. But when they have kids, they want their kid to continue their business. But their kid don't want to do this anymore, because their kid think, oh, my parents' life is very boring. It's very tired. I don't want to live like that. So they want to be freelance worker. They want to do something independent. They want to to do farming, but their parents cannot accept that.
Yes.
And then because their parents think the good life, good career is you need to be a doctor, you need to be engineer, you need to be architect, you need to be business person. But many young people now, they don't want to do this thing anymore because the world changing so much, so fast. And then soon, many careers are going to disappear. Like a teacher maybe disappear soon. And then doctor maybe no more meaning anymore. Because there are new application that you can consult with the application easily. And then people can learn from internet. In 3 hours, they can learn more than go to school for 6 hours per day. So why we need to go to school? Why we need to have teacher? When teacher have a lot of emotion or feeling, but when you ask question with teacher, sometimes teacher angry at you. But when you ask question from the internet, they never angry at you. So they have more fun to learn from the media, from the internet, from everything around us. So I feel like many things change so much, but many people cannot catch up with the change. Many parents still think that, oh, my kid have to be a doctor, my kid have to be architect, have to be engineer or something like that. But actually this career are going to disappear. But there's so many new career come up that parents don't know. It's like become a counseling. They don't know what is counseling now. But new generation, they know this career, this kind of career, it make them happy. They like it. They have a lot of freedom. Or writing cartoon or something like that, or make programmer, or so many things, many new things happen now. So that's a problem now because people cannot catch up with the change, and then they start to force their kid to do what they like to do, but it's not what their kid want to do. So it's a big conflict.
Yes, and the young people, sometimes they don't see the possibility that their parents will ever understand. So they will just come to study and do what they don't like because they never think their parents can understand, you know. But I think your son is very lucky. You know.
I think the main thing is now the education system is the big cause, the big problem in the world right now, because education system takes so much time from people's life, takes so much money from people's families, but it's not very useful. People learn so much.
Exactly.
They cannot use it.
I think the education system here today take away the children's curiosity to learn things. They don't feel like learning anything.
Yeah, that's a big problem everywhere now. Like the education system is not support the kid to be themselves, but the main idea is train the kid to be a good robot. They don't allow kids to think much. Education system just force kids to remember what they want kids to remember, but they don't allow kids to think. They want the kid to accumulate a lot of information. But the world now, we don't need to have a lot of information in our head. We want more space in our head for thinking, for imagination, for things, to do something that we like to. And then in education system, it's a lot of dictatorship. So they force the kid to learn the subject that they don't like to learn. And then that's make the kid were oppressed for many years. And then they don't know what they like to do because they never have a chance to think and do what they like to do. When they grew up, they just don't know what I want to do. So that's why people just learn and learn and learn. And then they don't know when it's enough. And then when they finish education, they don't know what to do because what they learn, they cannot use it in their daily life. So I think it caused a lot of problem in the world right now.
Yes. Your son is 15 years old, I think.
Yeah, now this year.
He's Tan Jandai. His name is Tan Jandai.
Yes.
Okay. So what are his plans? Like just to, you know, I just want to like be curious, you know, just curious about it. Yeah. So what plans does he have? You know, what he likes to do and things like that. Yeah.
We we never ask, what do you want to do?
Mm.
We will not ask the kid, when you grew up, what you want to be. We don't ask this question because the kid, they don't have enough experience in the world. They don't know how many career, how many things that they can choose. So we just let them grow naturally. Let them grow, and our job is just support them.
Yes.
That's all. So they can make decision themselves when they grew up, because it's their life. We should not intervene in their life
Yes.
much, because
Exactly.
their life, their era may be different from our era. So they catch up with the chain faster than us, because our
Yes.
brain have more space. Their brain has more space than us, because we too old. Our brain full of information. It's hard to have a space for accept new thing now.
And
So
kids are more intelligent than we think also. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
when it's very interesting that when the kids were forced to study seriously, they become like a robot. They remember, but they cannot think, they cannot digest it much. But when you give freedom to the kid, they learn so much, and then
Yes.
it become their own learning. It's not try to copy some theory, some idea. It's come from their own understanding. So
Yes.
this part, I think, is quite important.
Yes. I have a son. He's 7 years old. So
Oh,
yes, he loves to play like Beyblade. Beyblade is kind of top that spin, you know.
yeah.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
and I'm very surprised that in 1 or 2 years he learns so much about it. He knows which one is strong, which one will win just by looking at it, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have so much learning capacity in their own way.
yeah. They're so fast learning.
Yes.
When they have freedom, when they have a chance to do what they love, they learn so fast. And then many things now I need to ask them,
Yes. Yes.
because
Me.
I don't understand it easily like them. So they just
Yeah.
grab the cell phone, grab anything, they understand it immediately. But for
Yes.
me, it takes so long to accept that, to understand it. So
Yes.
that I feel like education, we should not teach much. We just let them learn. When they learn by themselves, they learn so much,
Yes.
and they know what they like too. So they spend time to learn what they like to learn. But if we try to teach them, that means we try to force them learn what we want them to learn, which mean they maybe don't need it. So if they don't need it, why they need to waste their time to learn what they don't like it? Because when they grew up, they were not gonna like. They don't like it, and they don't use it for sure.
Exactly. That's right.
Mm.
Yeah. One other thing I like to talk about is because sometimes when I show my students, some of them, they really can understand. I can see them, they pay attention. Some can understand, but some came to me and say that this is not the right way because he still think that money is important, and he think that the speaker, which is yourself, is running away from reality. And then I will remind them. I said, because I listen to your talk every term, right? So I said,
Mm.
who make more money, right? The person in the city working 8 hours, 10 hours, living in a small place with high cost of living, dress up very nice because he had to spend money on the clothes, or the person who own farm and sell the surplus. And then they say, oh, you're right. Even though Mr. Jon Jandai doesn't like money so much, but when he go back to the village, he's actually becoming a businessman by himself, owning land. Every month is a surplus increase in the savings. So money is still coming in. So they got it wrong, because when we make money, when we focus on making money too much, in the process, money start to make us, right? Money make us, we become slave of money. For you, you make your own living, you make your own life, and in the process, you make the money. But the money doesn't make you. You become the boss of
Yeah,
your money.
Yeah. Yeah. Money, if we work hard to make money, we will never happy with it. We never feel enough. But when we don't need to work for money, money is coming to us. So it's something interesting to see this thing.
Yes.
Like I did not refuse money. I use money as normal people.
Yes.
But I did not save money for security because I don't think money is secure anymore. The money
Very true.
value is decreased every day. Inflation increase very fast. So soon money gonna collapse. We cannot keep going like this anymore.
And we cannot
But the
eat
most,
money, like what you say.
yeah. And the most secure thing in our life is food, is land,
Yes.
is water, is shade, the trees. So this thing is, the value of this thing never go down. So that's why I did not save money for security, but I save natural resources for security. So I don't have much money like many people, but I have good soil. I have trees. I have many fruit, many food in my land.
Yes.
So whatever happened, I'm okay here. So
Yes.
I feel like this way is not many people think in this way because many people still thinking money is security. But I don't think it will not last long. Money will not last long because money is related to natural resources.
Yes.
Because money comes from natural resources.
Yes.
You have to digest natural resources, change into money. That's the way money comes from. But now, when we have less natural resources, we will have a lot of money in the world. So we have so much money in the world now. Every bank, they're full of money. But there's no natural resources to use. So what do we need money for? So
Yes. Yes.
when there's no natural resources, money will have no meaning immediately.
Yes.
So money is not secure. Money is like is illusion. It's not real.
Yeah.
But
Maya.
food is real.
Yes.
Food is very real.
Yes.
You eat it, you feel your stomach, you feel happy. But when you have a lot of money, when the money collapse, it's no meaning. So I think now we need to change our thinking a lot to make humans survive, to make our life easy, to make our life survive. We need to think about produce more resources. Because now if you think about the whole world, everybody work more than 8 hours per day. But most of people works just to change natural resource into money. But very few people who work to create more natural resources. So it's not balanced anymore now. That's why we start to suffer more and more. So
Yes.
now is the time to change our thinking, come back to the nature,
Yes.
create more natural resources, and then we'll be stable after that.
Okay. Mr. Jon Jandai, I also like to ask you about, the visitors that come to your place. Do you have many policy makers, people from the government, in the agriculture ministry or department?
Not many people from the government come to us much, but if they come, they will come like a personal visit. It's not government visit.
Right.
Because the government, they not uh, interested about something like this much. So mainly government have to work hard with industrial, with the business thing more.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
the way to make money. They just think
exactly.
about because if they make more money in the country, they get more vote, they get
Yeah.
more accepting. Yeah.
I know.
But they don't think about sustainable. They don't think about happiness or something like that much because it's not number. It's not, you cannot calculate as
Yes.
number like money.
Yes, because most of the voters are not normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you remind me of Mr. Chandran Nair. Mr. Chandran Nair is a Malaysian. He's living in Hong Kong. He gave a lot of talks about sustainability because he was an environmental consultant, environmental scientist. And he mentioned something about how, you know, the Asian governments, the Asian countries is always looking to the West for solution for their own problem in Asia. You know, so that could be a big problem, because like I've been living here in Australia for, you know, 15 years, 16 years. And also I know that in USA, you know, and also some places in Australia, the councils and the government has a lot of laws against people growing their own vegetables in their front yard or maybe in their, you know, house, because the laws are, you know, influenced by the big corporations. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if our Asian
I think now,
government, yeah, if
I
our
think the
Asian
problem now
government
is
keep
like,
listening and looking to the West for solution, it's going to be very difficult, you know.
yeah, we try to follow the Western way of living. We copy everything from them. We don't think ourselves much. So, and another problem is now is the time, is the war for, is the war for natural resources. So
Yes.
the big corporation, they want to occupy, they want to monopolize all natural resources, and then they have to fight with farmer or villagers.
Yes.
So many companies try to monopolize seeds,
Yes.
monopolize the local wisdom, monopolize many things. So they, the corporation, they have money, and then the government, the politician in any country have to work with them because they get
Yes.
money.
That's right.
So they, the politician and the corporation, they work together to make a law to allow the corporation to have more right to access to natural resources
Yes.
more than people.
Yes.
So now many countries, they have the law that saving seed is illegal.
Oh my God.
So that means only the company can own seed. When you own seed, you own food. When you
Yeah.
own food, you own everybody in that world, in the world.
Exactly.
So now, yeah, it's the same thing with, it's quite similar with everything now. Like
Yeah.
we use a lot of herbal medicine
Yeah.
for healing.
Yes.
But now the government have to make a new law that you cannot use herbal medicine easily if you're not doctor. So that means you allow only the corporation can sell medicine. So villagers cannot use their own wisdom anymore. The same
Yes.
with whiskey or beer or anything like that. They're not
Yeah.
allowing human normal people to do it. They
Yes.
allow only big corporation can do it. So that's the way they're fighting for control the natural resources in the world now everywhere. And then the politician in every country is a worker of the corporation.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the politicians, they are not representative of people, but
That's right.
representative of corporation or the company or business sector. So that's why every country are doing the same thing everywhere in the world.
Yeah. It is so sad to see so many farmers in India or in Japan. They commit suicide. They just have to kill themselves, you know, because
Yeah,
they have no more
yeah.
freedom anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
That
anyway.
that's the way they take over the whole thing. It's a new era of imperialism. In
Yes.
the past, the imperialism, they take over another country, but they use weapon to take
Yeah.
over India, take over Malaysia or Vietnam or something like that. But
Yes.
now they're not do like that anymore. They just use law, use
Yeah.
politician to
That's
make
right.
the law to allow them to have more right to use the resources
Yes.
more than local people.
Yes.
And only they own seed, own corn, own soybean, they own the whole population in the world. Everybody work hard. and send money to them every day. So this is a new colonization system.
Exactly. Like, I mean, just give you one example. The dogs and the cats who are pets today, they have cancer. You know, they have all the disease that human beings have because they all can only just eat the pet food. When I was growing up in Malaysia, you know, the cats never die of cancer or, you know, things like that.
Yeah. Dog animal never have cancer.
Yeah.
But now the new way of raising animal, they need to use food from the factory. Whenever you use food from the factory to feed animal, feed pest, they will have a lot of health problem. They will have kidney problem. They will have cancer. They will have many kind of sickness, even measles. So normally animal don't get this kind of sickness easily.
Yes.
But whenever you feed them with industrial food, they got a problem. And then you need to take them to see doctor. And then you pay more money than human to take care of pets now. So
Exactly.
it's just the way to make money. They
Yes.
did not develop thing to solve the problem, but they develop thing to cause more problem so they
Yeah.
can make more money.
Yeah. Make more money, develop an industry, you know. Yeah. But it's really encouraging to see people like yourself doing these things. All right. So I want to share this story with more people out there, and I really thank you for your time and your patience. You know, for this. Yeah. Yeah. Can I also ask you if you have something to share with our listener before we go?
I think we need to come back and think about self-reliance more, because now we cannot rely on anybody. We cannot rely on government. We cannot rely on the money system. We cannot rely on anything. Only one thing that we can rely on is ourselves and each other.
Yeah.
Rely on ourselves and rely on each other. That's the solution that I feel like we can do it easier than anywhere in the world right now.
Okay. All right. Now, one more last request. Can you talk a little bit about awareness or mindfulness?
Ah, mindfulness is the main thing, the most important thing in our life. If we spend our life with mindfulness, we have no problem. Everything will be easy. But when we don't use mindfulness, it will be emotional. So if we let emotional lead our life, we will have more problem, because emotion is not something stable. It's just up and down, come and go, up and down, come and go. If we run after emotion, it will be very hard. It will be like a mad dog, just keep running. If we follow mindfulness, think about something about the truth, something about stable or sustainable. So if we follow mindfulness, our life will be relaxed and easy. And then whenever we follow more emotion, emotion will have more power, and then it control our life. Emotion is something not about reason, it's about like or don't like mainly.
Oh,
But mindfulness is about reason, it's about the truth.
right.
Oh, so that's the way to make life easy. That's the heart of living for me.
Thank you very much. Because I also remember you share a story like you love to eat ice cream, but because you
Yeah,
love to eat ice cream, you expose, you show people, you share ice cream with people, but you don't eat it yourself. And to see
yeah,
your own desire and control it, that's fantastic.
yeah.
Because we are very afraid
That's
to
the
face
way,
ourselves,
the
you know,
way to
to face.
practice.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the way to learn to understand our emotion. When we understand it, we don't need to follow it. But if we don't understand it, we have to follow it.
Yes, yes. So to control it, to be our master of our own emotions rather than
Yeah.
the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So I thank you so very much. I'm so happy to have the privilege to talk to you. Once this video is up, I will share it with you. I'll email you the link as well. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Jon Jandai. Kokun Makap.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.